Astonishing adventure. The coolest heroes. The hottest heroines. And the most outrageous villains in the universe.
These ain't your daddy's comic books, fanboy.
DC Comics.
DC Comics.
Hello, everybody.
I fucking love that commercial. I remember seeing that on TV in the early 90s, like around the time of Death of Superman, and being like, oh my god, there's fucking Guy Gardner, and there's Lady Maxima, and there's fucking Darkseid, and Lobo. Did you see what Lobo said? These ain't your daddy's funny books, fanboy.
If I hadn't seen that in the 90s as a kid, I would have been really into that as well.
Yeah. I love that era of DC. The same era that I hate of Marvel.
What irony. The switch around.
Yeah, there just weren't as many shoulder pads and pouches in DC Comics at the time.
Good point. Better fashion choices.
Yeah. Anyway, we're back for your special new 52, the newest 52 you'll ever read. Special episode 52 of Vertigo Voices.
Alrighty then.
I'm Colby.
I'm Sophia.
And we're going to be talking about Justice League Dark, Volume 1, In the Dark. It's actually what it's called, Justice League Dark, Volume 1, In the Dark.
As 52 as 52 can get.
Justice Dark, Volume Dark, Dark in the Dark.
Darkity dark. Yeah. Aye.
So, yeah, we're going to be talking about this. It's written by Peter Milligan, with art by Michael, Mikel, M-I-K-E-L. I don't know how to pronounce that. Mikel, maybe? Janin. Don't know, didn't do any research. So that's what we are going to be talking about. And this astonishing piece of shit.
Right to the heart of the matter.
Yeah. So this came out in 2011 when it was originally published.
I thought
Was
so.
it the end of 2011, early 2012? I can't remember.
Somewhere in there.
Like 10 years ago, whatever. This came out at the same time that Peter Milligan was writing Hellblazer.
Huh.
Yeah, so Milligan was writing this and Hellblazer at the same time. Hellblazer was starting to wind down. The New 52 was ramping up. You know, everyone was a big old boner about the new DC universe. And I don't understand how the same person wrote both of these.
It's baffling, is what it is.
It's also noticeable that he quit right after this.
Oh, well, I wonder if it had anything to do with that book.
I don't know. But he was supposed to do, like, Justice League Dark was pitched as, like, his book. And he was supposed to continue on with it, but after issue 6, he quit, and Jeff Lemire took over. I don't know. Don't know if it got any better, because I haven't read any more.
Not really inspired to, honestly.
This is such a weird story about Enchantress, kinda?
Yeah.
Or maybe is it Lady Xanadu? Madame Xanadu? Who's the bad guy? Because for a long time you think it's Enchantress, and then Madame Xanadu's like, I did it because I can see the future. I hated it, and this is just the worst thing. This is everything that I hate about the New 52. The way it casually introduces characters that are important without any context. Mm-hmm. Because this is supposed to be the start of a new universe, but it's dependent on the old universe. So, like, when they introduce Dawn Granger.
Yes.
Like, I know who that is because I'm a big comic nerd, but this story doesn't give her any introduction.
Yeah, why is she here?
She's just on a date with Deadman.
Yeah, and they're having a relationship
Who the fuck is she to Deadman, even? In the comics, Dawn is always connected, because Dawn Granger is a dove of Hawk and Dove.
Yes.
So she's always connected to Hank Hall, who's Hawk. And clearly something happened before this as to why they're not together anymore. But this doesn't allude to it at all.
Yeah, you have really no idea who she... Like, I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I actually saw her in the costume, and I was like, shit, that's supposed to be Dove.
Yeah, exactly. I just know her name. but you can't have Hawk without Dove. You can't have Dove without Hawk. It feels weird to have one of them, who also is not really a mystical character in the comics.
No.
To be so involved with this Justice League Dark story.
Speaking of which, like I said earlier, I think you should do the book report because I read that thing cover to cover and I still don't have the foggiest clue as to what it's about.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, it's just... magic shit happens, but it's already been happening. It starts with a bunch of different June moons. There's like thousands of June moons just wrecking shit in the world.
Right.
Why? We don't know. Maybe it was told in an earlier story. Or maybe not, because this is the New 52. So this literally could be the first we see of any of these characters, conceivably, in this universe. We don't fucking know. And that's kind of how the New 52 operated. Like, sometimes it would reference the old universe. Sometimes it wouldn't. And because enough time has gone by, I don't know what this is supposed to be doing. I don't know if it is supposed to be referencing our knowledge of these characters or not. I just know that as an introduction, this is fucking god-awful. It doesn't introduce anything.
Well, in line with what you said, that's exactly how I felt, because reading it at first, I was like, well, it seems like unless you're a diehard fan of these characters, then you'll be left out in the cold. And then, same thing, I was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be a reboot of this story. It shouldn't matter whether you know who these people are or not. And there's really no guidance whatsoever.
The closest we get to a story arc is Dead Man. Like, he's kind of the anchor for the story, I guess. But, yeah, so let's go back to the beginning. Shitload of June moons. Madame Xanadu is talking to you, the reader, maybe, about what's going on, but this is real, all of it. The cards have been dealt. Now we shall see how the game plays out. For the future is not yet determined. The future is being remade. But she can see the future, so... whatever. There's all these June moons being killed all over the world. They're somehow spreading madness, maybe?
I think so.
Are they doing that, or is it the cards, or is it the being of the Enchantress? So the Justice League, this is another thing that pisses me off. The Justice League show up to stop them. They send Superman, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg. Like, this is clearly like some sort of magical witch. Superman is vulnerable to magic. Everyone knows that.
Right.
It's been that way since like the 50s. Cyborg is a robot, and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's the only one here who should be dealing with this threat.
Well said.
Zatanna is in the Justice League by now. But even she's like, no, I'm not going to go. Just let those guys go.
Right. And it feels so shoehorned in. I mean, we never see them again.
Yes. So these three, Superman, Batman, and Superman, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg, go up to this house that June Moon's in that we don't know why she's there.
I think Enchantress is
That's what I meant. Whatever. Yeah. They're the same. That's another thing. The separation of those two characters is really annoying because they're supposed to be... I mean, I get breaking them apart as being the inciting incident, but sometimes they're treated like they're the same and sometimes they're not. And I don't know. It's very frustrating. So they go in there and they're attacked by a bunch of teeth.
Yeah.
And that's the last you see of them.
Right. Yeah,
they're swarmed by teeth. Superman is bleeding because he's getting stabbed by millions of teeth. Wonder Woman's the only one that can hold her own. And then it just cuts to Batman like, well, fuck, that didn't work. And Zatanna's like, I know what to do. No, you can't do this. It's fucking not stable.
And that's the last we see Batman, too,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. Zatanna, come back. And then, hard cut to John Constantine falling out of midair.
Falling through the sky, yeah.
And this is your introduction to John Constantine. Just, go Christ, no! I'm like, what the fuck? And the way he's describing it, what happened, like why don't you go back to that point? Why don't you introduce these characters properly?
Right, it just jumps around
A few moments ago, I was scamming this rich geezer in Brighton. He wanted to contact his dead wife. I wanted to pay my rent. Instead of the wife, I got a scary vision of a girl I used to know. All swept away in the magical vortex. Like, why was he... Because he's still in England. If he was transported somewhere else, why wasn't he transported there? It's like somebody just picked him up and dropped him.
Pretty much. No idea.
So yeah, so then we cut back to Dead Man from... so then we introduce Shade.
Yes.
Who... This is a character that Milligan wrote for years. Mm-hmm. And it feels... Wait, I apologize. Shade was actually introduced earlier. It feels like fan fiction with Shade. Because him trying to bring back Kathy, which I don't think died in the comics.
I can't. And I think she did. I think she did.
Well, but in Hellblazer, when Shade shows up in Hellblazer around the same time as this, he says something to his other friend. I can't remember her name.
Lenny,
yes. He says something to Lenny about, like, how's Kathy? And Lenny says, like, she's fine. It would be better if you didn't talk to her, or something like that. And that's it.
Okay.
Because by that point in the comic, Shade is completely disconnected from reality. He's off on his own. And in this, he's like, oh, I just want to be a hero. I want my Kathy back.
Well, it's such an odd storyline, and I think fans of this book have tried to justify it by saying, well, he's an alien anyway, so he's going to be a little bit weird. It's like, well, no, it's almost like he's this...
He's too normal right here.
Right.
Like, I would appreciate some alien weirdness from the planet Meta. But this is just this guy trying to reconnect with his lost love, so he makes her out of clay or whatever, and then she gains sentience, and then he has to, like, put her down.
Right.
Because she's like, I'm not even real, what the fuck? And
exactly.
That's an interesting idea, but that's something that, like, if that were to actually happen in Shade, I feel like then this homunculus that he creates would then become its own character and be forced to reconcile with the fact that she's not real. Instead of just, I'm not real. Oh, God, never mind. You're gone.
Yeah, it brings up an interesting point, but it never follows through with it. So it just feels like this extraneous thing, like so many plot points in this book does. I wouldn't even call them plot points, because I don't know if they contribute anything to the overall plot.
Yeah, there's a lot of just, and we're doing this now, and we're doing this now. And, Dead Man has this whole thing about his wife, or not his wife, his girlfriend, trying to take this dude's body so they can fuck.
Right.
It's just really weird. And then he just goes off with some other chick.
Yeah.
When he's like, well, never mind, if you're not gonna fuck me, then I'm gonna go fuck her. And then she's like, what the hell? And then it just cuts to him back at home being like, sorry, nothing happened, okay? Like, dude, you're way past I'm sorry. Like, you just went off with someone. Come on, that's not how relationships work.
No.
And then when June Moon shows up, then he's just like, yeah, well, I believe her. I'm going to help her. And so then Dawn's like, fuck you, and then leaves. And it's just like he's from one chick to the next.
Well, it's totally emotionally inconsistent. I mean, we get drawn into their domestic squabble.
Oh, that's right.
Which is not interesting. And then... yeah, he comes off like a real asshole because, oh, I'm sorry. And then he possesses June Moon and puts the moves on Dawn.
Tries to get some girl-on-girl action going.
Right.
God, that's fucking weird.
It is.
They hand-wave it later as being like, oh, it's the Enchantress. She's affecting our minds. Like, I feel like if that's what you're actually going for, then you need to have more of an explanation or show that happening to other people than just this one guy who's constantly horned up and will take it any way he can.
Yeah, the inconsistency of the tone and the characters. Like you said, all of a sudden he's a hero who wants to help June Moon.
Exactly, and it's because of what we've seen of him so far. Whenever he's talking to June Moon about helping her, I don't get any sense of altruism from him at all. I don't feel like he's doing this to help her. I feel like he's doing this because in the end we can fuck. If I help you now, you have to put out later. That's so weird, and I don't like it.
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I helped you, didn't I? Fucking bend over.
God, yeah, it's such a weird romance that they all of a sudden try to shoehorn in.
And I don't care about Boston Brand, Dead Man, like, having a past relationship. Like, I don't care. I understand why that's interesting, but I've seen the movie Ghost. I know how that works. Do something more interesting with him.
Right.
I like him, especially in, like, Books of Magic, when he shows up to take over somebody's body, impart some wisdom, and then fuck off. I really liked him in Kingdom Come, how he's like the otherworldly observer. I really liked him in that episode of Justice League that he's in, where he's trying to protect Nanda Parbat from what's his name?
Oh, you would know better than I.
It's not Black Manta. It's their version of Black Manta. Devil Ray. It's called Devil Ray. So anyway, and then, have you ever seen that episode?
I don't think so.
He's trying to protect Nanda Parbat from Devil Ray and the bad guys, and it ends with him taking over, possessing Batman,
Oh.
and grabbing a gun and killing Devil Ray.
Oh, wow.
And then he pulls out of his body, and Batman's standing there holding a smoking gun with Devil Ray dead in front of him. And just the Batman's like, what the hell did you just do to me?
Trauma.
He literally forced Batman to do the one thing that he never wants to do. He's flashed back to his childhood now, seeing his parents dead in front of him, and shit like that. That's the drama I want to see from Dead Man, not this.
Right.
Now, well, you're not going to put out. Maybe she will. It's so fucking weird.
It really. Oh, speaking of weird sexual themes.
John,
yeah. What is they get together in this hotel and then they basically have the magic version of tantric sex.
Yeah.
What does it do? What is it for?
I don't know. What is she even doing? She's on the ground. She just pulls over in the middle of the street and starts meditating, and she's so deep into it that her body is no longer breathing, or her heart's, it's like she's frozen in time or whatever.
Right.
And so then all these people pull up and are like, oh my god, she's fucking dead. Why did you do this in the middle of the street? Zatanna. You're lucky that people found you and not a speeding car, for God's sake.
Right, exactly.
It's literally the middle of the street. It's not the sidewalk, it's the middle of the street.
She's sitting out there on the pavement just waiting.
And then John's like, oh, fucking, her name's Zatanna, I'll help her. I do like the bit about him getting beaten up to use his magic earlier.
That seemed Constantine-ish.
He had to take a couple punches to get the magic juices flowing or whatever, because magic requires sacrifice. I thought that was interesting. He gets stabbed in the side. I don't like the way he's always wearing gloves. This looks a little too posh for me.
He's wearing gloves.
Yeah, he always is in this version of the character. It's all because in his first appearance in Swamp Thing, he wore white gloves. So new artists like to throw that in the new 50T version. But yeah, then they go back and he finds her. Zatanna. He uses backwards magic to fix her, which it's weird to see him use the backwards magic. That was kind of her thing. If anyone can do it, it's not special anymore, so why is she on the team? It's those little things I hate when they do shit like that. It's like in Wonder Woman, the movie, and seen more prominently in Justice League, when she runs really fast and deflects the gunman. Mm-hmm. So she can run faster than a bullet. So why is Flash on the team?
Right, right.
If Wonder Woman can do what he can do, but more, why do we care about him?
Sorry, Ezra Miller.
Yeah, I always like it better. The Superman's fast. In the comics, it's always established that Flash is faster than Superman. Mm-hmm. He can run so fast he can go through time or whatever. And in Justice League and in these movies, Wonder Woman's never supposed to be that fast. She's faster than a human, but she moves like supersonic when she's deflecting those bullets. Anyway, shit like that bugs me when now the one defining thing from this character is no longer special because someone else can do it.
Exactly. And it gives her, again, like so many other characters, zero reason to be here. Yeah. Because when she goes, I think maybe, and it's so jumbled in my mind, and I just read this afresh last night. I think maybe when she's doing her zone out in the middle of the street, that's when her subconscious or something, or her astral projection goes to check on the Enchantress in that house, and she ends up getting beat up, or I could have my series of events wrong there. But literally that's it. She goes there to try to fight her, and she can't because she's not powerful enough. And then John does her backwards magic. And that comes up later.
And then she whines about it later.
Yes. It comes up twice. There, she's like, let me hypnotize you so I can get my spells back. And then for whatever fucking reason, at the very end of the book, when Xanadu is like, come on, team, we need to get together. For whatever reason, she brings it up again. Yeah. And you're like, what?
Took my magic.
Yeah. It's like, why are you talking about that here?
You can do that? Oh, I forgot about this. This character... Mind Warp? Is that his name?
Jay something?
Yeah, I don't remember. Mind Warp created... So I thought this was a pre-existing character. He's kind of is, but kind of not. Right here, you see this comic? Secret 7?
Oh, yes.
Written in the Shade the Changing Man font there. That was his first appearance.
Oh.
Before this came out, Milligan wrote a story called Secret 7, which was part of the Flashpoint universe. Mm-hmm. Flashpoint is what set up New 52. In that story, Milligan created this character, Mind Warp. So, but that's a different continuity. So this is technically this character's first appearance, even though he appeared in a different comic. Mm-hmm. So Mind Warp has the power to turn into a white ghostly guy and then murder someone and then imply that he's going to rape someone else.
Right? And this guy needs to be on the team for some reason.
I'm like so many questions about this character. A, who is he? B, what is his deal? Is he an assassin? Is he a magic user? Is he a hero? Is he a villain? Like, they don't really give you any... I mean, is this guy that he's killing, you know, a fucking politician? A child pornographer? A hero? Like, there's no real context or anything that happens here. So, like, this guy's just a cipher.
Right.
And he is treated like an integral part of the team. And, like, dude, I didn't come here for this shit. You're selling this book based on huge magical characters in DC. You're selling this based on Zatanna, John Constantine, Deadman, Swamp Thing, who's not in this. You know, you're selling it on these guys. Notice that Mind Warp is not on the cover.
Right.
So, like, why would you then throw this dude in as being integral when he's not?
Absolutely not.
But he's also just not interesting. Like, they don't give him any backstory, per se, any origin. I mean, really, nobody gets an origin in this, but at least there's some familiarity with the other characters.
Well, and like you said, I think twice in the book, someone refers to him as a psycho, and that's basically how he appears. I mean, he's threatening. There's nothing interesting about him. It's just one of those things like, we definitely don't want him on the team.
Yeah. He's a psycho, but at the same time, like, you see him kill a dude without any real context. Maybe it's a hit, I guess. So then I'm like, oh, he's a hitman. But again, are his powers mystical, scientific? Was he born this way? Did he get turned into this? How did this happen? And that's really all you see him do. So he kills a guy, and then there's some implication of, like, who knows what's going to happen here with the woman, because she pulls a gun on him, so maybe he's just defending him. Like, you know, you don't know. But then he just disappears, and then this scene goes away.
Right.
And no one in that scene is important anymore. The guy that he killed or the woman with the gun.
Nope. Yeah.
So, like, you don't ever get any more context to that, which is needed. Yeah, and so then as the team's coming, I don't know, they think they defeat Enchantress. The pacing of this fucking thing is just all over the map, too.
It is.
As all over the map as the comic. Oh, there's the Rorschach scene. Isn't he eating beans, too? Yeah, he's eating cold baked beans. John breaks into Dawn Granger's apartment and is eating beans, just like Rorschach and Watchmen. Why is she still wearing her costume?
I don't know.
When she changes into her costume, it's like a magical thing. It's like a bright light, and her costume's on her.
Yeah,
so
is there even a bright light?
Yes.
It seems like one moment she's in the car in civilian clothes.
She starts flying, and there's like a light aura around her. Because this comic really likes this light aura effect that you see all the time.
Boy, howdy. Doesn't it, though?
Right there. See? It's shimmery. Yeah. Right there. It comes onto her.
There you go.
Costume gets shimmery, and then she's in it. So, like, why can't she do that to take it off? Because I feel like her neighbors probably would be curious if they saw a superhero go into her apartment.
Right? Well, it's just kind of, this might be nitpicky, but again, just the consistency of it. I mean, she's driving home, and she just, like, well, why didn't she just fucking fly if you can fly? Instead of leaving your car on the freeway. But anyway, that's smaller beans, no pun intended, compared with just the conglomeration of...
Oh, wait, we do come back to this. Forgot.
Oh, she shoots at both Shade and Mind Warp. Basically, like, get the fuck out of my room, which I can understand. But yeah, I guess Shade is trying to talk Mind Warp into joining the team, and you still don't know why. Like, what purpose does this guy serve? Well, really, what purpose do any of them serve to form a team?
This is another thing that I don't like when, like, stories do this. It's so overused. When there's a threat that is, like, impacting people's minds the world over. Mm-hmm. Like, here, there's a bunch of little kids murdering their parents. Right. And then there's all these June moons fucking shit up in a mall. Yeah. Downtown, there's military dudes killing everyone. And he layers in some, like, what's the word? Like, context. Some
subtext?
No, he tries to layer in some texture to the story by saying, like, oh, and anyone who's blonde were asked to dye their hair black or whatever. And, like, that if this was the story, that would be an interesting little thing to discuss. But it's just thrown in here like we're supposed to care about this. And it's one of those things where when a threat gets too big, it's no longer scary.
Right.
Like when the whole world is under this control of all these June moons and kids are killing their parents and people are committing suicide and there's panic in the streets. Like, well, it's going to get fixed.
Right.
I know that this isn't going to keep happening. You can't do that forever. So it just gets silly.
Well, that I have that in my notes is that, you know, all of a sudden blondes are an endangered species.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be, like, scary and you don't know who you can trust. And it's actually quite funny.
Yeah, exactly. Flaxen-haired members of the National Guard are advised to dye their curls black. Is that supposed to be serious? Is that supposed to be a serious sentence?
Yeah, it's like we all pretty much know exactly what June Moon looks like. Exactly like. She's all over television. Like in the very first part of the comic, people are watching her doubles get just obliterated in the street.
But like every single sentence in this chunk, in this splash, or this 2-page section here where it shows the craziness of the world, every single sentence in this sounds like the story that a little kid wrote to try to be shocking. Children who turn on their caregivers, knives, bottles, anything their tiny hands can grasp. Men and women are scalped as though they might reveal their true nature. What do you think about that, teacher? Are you gonna kick me out of class now because I'm too dangerous?
And it's so sad because, again, Peter Milligan is a good writer.
Yeah, exactly.
That reminds me, though.
We all gotta pay the bills somehow.
I have to bring up this line because it made me go, what the fuck? But in the, speaking of the writing, in the witch teeth portion, where Superman, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg are getting attacked by molars, basically, there's this line in there, it's like, the reek of skinned babies and sliced eyeballs.
Oh, yeah!
Like, I have a yen for a good metaphor, but, like, there's no shame in picking up a thesaurus to find another word for putrescence. It's
just one of those, like it feels like a kid trying to be extreme.
Right.
Look at that. Look, skinned babies. What do you think about that, motherfucker? Yeah.
And sliced eyeballs. It's like, what the fuck?
I almost smoked a whole cigarette one time.
Ooh. Yeah.
I'm pretty tough.
I return my videos to Blockbuster without rewinding them. Yeah. And again, like you said, you got to make the money, and he's got more wins than misses, but this is just such a startling miss.
Yeah. And I don't know if we should get to that point yet, because, I mean, there's so much that happens and so little of it is important.
Yep.
And there's more than one time where we just see the whole team dead.
Right.
You guys see the future and you're all dead. Now I see the future again and you're still all dead.
Well, then there's a couple times, did you get this sense, too, that she contradicts herself? Like, in one, she's like, I know the future, I know what it's going to be. And then the other, she's like, I don't know.
I don't know anything. I'm just reading the cards.
Right.
The cards know.
Like, make up your mind.
And then she's like, I did this, but I don't know how I did that. Like, it's not like she conjured any of this into being. She's just, again, reading the cards. I don't know.
Right.
I don't understand this. Vertigo had to die so that this could live.
Oh, R.I.P. And, yeah. And I guess that's the thing, too, is that by the end of it, Xanadu is very fervent that they all need to come together as a team. Yeah. And you still don't know why. Like, why? Why? These people don't care about each other. This is not... This is more poorly done than Suicide Squad, I would say, in my opinion.
The movie?
Of course, the movie. Okay. Yes. The first movie. It's just, you have no idea what this is all about. And I heard someone who was sticking up for this book say, oh, it's different. It's not your usual team comes together type story. And it's like, yes, sir, it is.
They're all their own thing. They come together, they argue for a bit, and then they're friends.
Except these guys aren't even friends by the end. Like, they're still fucking bickering.
They are, though. They're still, whatever. They're going to bicker forever, but they're still going to be friends. They're going to be a team. They've come together.
But they don't. Like, well, there's no point in this comic where you have this feeling of, like, warmth or maybe recognition.
I get that. And I think that would almost be a positive if it just wasn't so poorly written. Because by the end, I mean, they are a team. They have to be a team. They're together. You know, like, you may not like each other, but you got to be a team. This so-called team. We don't actually have to like each other, do we? Like, I expected him to then be like, this is some kind of Suicide Squad. Whatever Will Smith's line was.
I would have been surprised.
We don't have to like each other, do we? No, John, that won't be necessary. And cue credits.
Right.
But, yeah, so when Madame Xanadu... my supplier's house is in a street occupied by doctors and a retired Air Force general. Who cares? Now I have my medication in my pocket. I'm more relaxed. I feel the futures pressing in around me. I say futures because the future is unformed. But this one possible outcome seems to be getting stronger, more persistent. The fear is, the more I see it, the more likely I'm making it. So, like, what...
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So then she's like, back at my parlor, I swallow the bitter pills. I begin the merciful ritual that will lead this temporary release. It is at this precise moment that I sense him. So then, John shows up. I want a word with you. I'm busy. Get out of here. Don't talk to me about the future. Oh, I'll kill you. Kill me? You mean like you killed all the others? I never wanted to hurt anyone. Maybe not deliberately, but you were responsible for this carnage. What?
Right? It's like, excuse me.
I don't understand. I understand that you meddled with something, and now June Moon is going to suffer for it. What?
Like, stop. Let's go back to the beginning.
And so you never actually see what the inciting incident was. Somehow June Moon was removed from Enchantress. Oh, and they keep showing, like a good New 52 crossover. Like, don't forget, Resurrection Man has his own book, now in stores. Frankenstein and Agents of Shade, now in stores. Animal Man, now in stores.
Whatever, yeah. And I guess I'm not clear on so many things about this book, but Xanadu and the drugs, now, were those supposed to help enhance her visions, or to suppress them so she could get shit done?
No, I don't care. But it's like, she's supposed to be a character that is viewing the future, and somehow that created it. I don't understand why. Like, if that was something that was elaborated on, like the whole observer's paradox or whatever that's called, is that the Heisenberg uncertainty principle?
I think so.
Where, like that. Just by looking something, you're changing it. Mm-hmm. If you observe something, you're changing the outcome, because the act of observing is in itself changing what is being observed. Mm-hmm. Maybe if that were what they were trying to get at, that's interesting, especially on a magical level, and could be delved into, but it's not. So, like, John slaps her around, tells her it's her fault. Then it just cuts to John. This magic circle was designed by John Dee in the 1500s, and he talks about Corazon from Sandman. Nothing to call or hexing will hurt you in here. And, like, he's just suddenly now here trying to fight the bad guy and save June Moon.
Yeah. It's like
so much happens between the panel in this fucking comic. And this is just one example, but it happens a lot.
It just bounces all over the place.
And then they constantly have to reiterate what's going on because there's so many gaps. Like this issue, the last issue ends with John slapping her around and being like, "Oh, he fucking did something." And then there's a big tide of
bodies,
June Moons and Enchantress Sigh.
Enchantress Sigh.
and then it cuts to them like, "I'm Madame Xanadu." In the next issue, it starts with, "I'm Madame Xanadu. I'm cursed with the gift of seeing all. It was I who tore June Moon apart from Enchantress, the witch who'd possessed her. Thus did I set these nightmares in motion. And now Enchantress's cracked magic grows more extreme as she closes in on what she wants. She wants her host back." And then cut to John. "Hey, over here. This magic circle I'm making is from John Dee. Let me explain this to you. Not like it matters, but I'll explain it."
How very convenient. Yeah. Oh, boy.
And, like, so, okay, maybe show that. Show her cracking June Moon from Enchantress. Say why she did it.
There you go.
Do anything that would give any context to this insanity.
Yes. And okay, because I am just so confused, I guess you might be able to answer this for me. If anyone can, it would be you. Now, most of these characters, of course, are original to Justice League Dark.
Wait, what? It's not original. These are older DC characters.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, this
take?
This take, yeah. I mean, these guys have come together before, right?
Yeah, different iterations of these. The original quote, Justice League Dark, was a Vertigo book called Totems.
Okay.
Set in the year 2000 on New Year's Eve. John throws a New Year's Eve party and invites Swamp Thing, Shade the Changing Man, Zatanna, maybe not Zatanna, I can't remember if she's there or not. Just all the Vertigo, Animal Man, all the Vertigo superheroes, whatever, mystical superheroes are out there.
Well, and again, it didn't take much about this book to befuddle me, but that's one of the reasons why at first I was like, well, maybe I just haven't read enough of these characters to understand what's going on. And that's not the case. I feel like even if you're a diehard fan of these characters and you've kept up with them in the other books, you still read this and it's like, WTF.
Yeah. I also hate, like, towards the end here when they show Mind Warp, when they're all getting attacked by the teeth again, and they're all having their, like, you did this to me, no, you did this, and then you're like, okay, dude, just, I get it, get over, you're all being tricked, get past that. Mm-hmm. This is not something you want to spend a lot of dialogue on, but here we are. And then Mind Warp shows up, and they're like, oh, it's Mind Warp, he came! And then it was like, oh, I get it. He's the one with the power to stop Jude Moon. He's the one who can stop Enchantress. He was created for this series just to do that. That's why he's a new character. Oh. He's the Deus Ex Machina.
Oh.
They didn't have a character that Peter Milligan could think of that could do that. He created a threat that was too big for the characters that DC provided him. So he's like, fuck it, I'll just make a new character to save the day. And as soon as he shows up, I'm like, God damn it. That's exactly what he is. Because he's not important to DC. He's not important to even this comic series as a whole. He's important for this one specific threat, which is why they got him on the team. So they didn't even need the team. They just needed Mind Warp to come in and be like, you fucking stop it. You stop it.
Behave yourself.
Now?
Shame. Or you came to that conclusion much sooner than I did. It just, again, felt so empty. Like, okay, all of these beings who have all of these different skills and powers are, fucking useless.
Yeah. And they stop her and blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. And then there's like, oh, wait, no, she's not really gone. There's fucking another one. And the way they show... Oh, no, it's the creature, the homunculus. What's his name?
Kathy.
Shade, yeah. Because that's not even really her. That's just the dream version that he had a couple panels ago. She comes back as the bigger big bad. And the way this is shown, how Deadman's like, oh, wait, I can fucking do this. Oh, God damn it. Just the way the big finale is shown is so muddled and confused. Like, I can't tell how did they beat her?
I have no idea.
My MS isn't responding.
Well, and then Deadman has these dreams that he's murdered Dove or Dawn.
Dead men don't sleep. That's a line.
That was created, yes.
But that doesn't mean they never have nightmares.
Oh, well, that's another excuse I heard for this book, was like, it should make sense to you because this is basically, they're all being affected by dreams. It's like, that's a piss poor excuse. I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind. This is what I was thinking of.
Oh.
So they're still in a dream here because Deadman goes into her psyche. They get attacked by the big homunculus dream thing again. And then right here, when Deadman's like, I know how to do this. You gotta face your nightmare. No, but you'll kill us. Blah, blah. And then so he goes inside of Shade. The way this is framed is fucking terrible. You see him go into Shade, but there's another Shade right there. So it's supposed to imply movement, that he's going into him, and then Shade is like going into her, and then there's an explosion. And then, well, I mean, I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but that's what we did. I realized that you were the... What the fuck?
And it totally levels the building.
Yeah, because you can't really tell what's happening right here.
Right.
The way this big reveal of the Kathy creature and the team fighting her, it's so muddled, and there's like electricity breaking the panels. And again, the fact that he goes into him there, but there's not a very good flow to that. And I don't like it when they fuck around with pages, like, to be artistic with the panels to the point where you can't tell what order you're supposed to read it.
Yeah.
Like right here, do I read that way? Because it's up and down, left to right.
Yeah.
This is left to down to up.
It confused me too. I just started at the top and worked my way down, and then it's like, okay, all right, I think that's how it's supposed to go. But it...
I did this like 4 times, like flipping back and forth. What? So he goes in there, that makes an explosion? Of course it was risky. It was risky as flying the haywire without a safety net. I mean, I wasn't sure how insane that ugly thing was, but I figured it wouldn't want to destroy its own creator. Oh, it wanted to destroy me, all right, but it couldn't. So it destroyed itself instead. The action is so unclear that they have to explain what happened after the fact. I mean, come on!
Yeah, it's just the most basic, like you said, fan fiction reasoning. It's like, I'm not sure how to end this or how to tie this together, so let's just put this right here, even though it doesn't make a lick of sense.
And this is already, like, the day was already saved.
Right.
You didn't need this thing to come back. It was like, we got 6 more pages. Fuck, what do we do? I don't know, throw in the blob creature and have Dead Man go inside a shade and make an explosion.
Right, and, all of the human beings are still alive and unscathed. It's just so weird.
And then there's the sequel hook. The vampires are coming! Remember DC New 52's I, Vampire? Yeah, no one does. This is a tie into that. It lasted like 5 issues. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted that story. So,
good God.
But they got to have that synergy. So now, even though these characters are relatively well loved, now it's saddled onto this character that nobody likes or even remembers. What's the name of I, Vampire? What's the name of the character?
I can't tell you.
Exactly. Nobody knows. I, Vampire doesn't know what the name of I, Vampire is. He's constantly having to look at the script every time he has a line to figure out who he is.
That's so sad. Can you think of any positives in this book?
I mean, the art was the art was competent. I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong about any of these drawings, any of these doodles. But I hate it when an artist gets up their own ass with trying to be or having interesting scene transitions or paneling, Like, I was just complaining with the lightning bolts in that one and not being able to tell where to read.
Right.
There's a lot of that in here. Like, don't fucking do that.
Right.
If you're not Frank Quitely or somebody like, if you don't really know how that's going to look in the end, just don't do it. Just have the regular panels.
Yes.
It's okay to do that.
Yeah.
Millions of comics do that every day. You don't need to get artsy if you're not that competent at it.
That's going back to the episode, I can't remember which one, where we talked about why some people hate comics. That is the type of comic where people who have a problem with the formatting, you would look at that and you'd be like, oh yeah, this is why I don't like comics.
Yeah. It's just confusing and it's hard to look at.
What did you think of the part where Dead Man possesses John Constantine momentarily?
I don't even really remember it.
That's probably, for me, it was the one point in the comic that I kind of liked because he tries to possess him, and then he's like, ew, ew, ew. He's like, filthy Englishman. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny.
That's right. I do remember that. Yeah, it was a good enough one-off joke, but I don't know. It's a joke, I mean, it's a bit,
right?
And it's one of those I feel like realistically he would be able to.
Right. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't make
logistically.
It doesn't make the book. It is a tiny, tiny, tiny speck of glitter in a mountain of shit.
Yeah. So, this may be the worst thing that we've read on the show.
It may be.
New 52, more like New 50 poo.
I don't have any good puns for it. It's just really bad.
That's going to be our rating system. Is it a Vertigo or is it a New 50 poo?
Oh, it's so much poo. So much poo-poo.
Oh, this is not very good. So episode 52 is the New 52 of our episodes.
Aren't you glad?
Yeah.
You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
Don't read it.
Which, I suppose we should talk about this because I joked a while ago about episode 52 being the last one, but I feel like maybe it should be. Maybe we should end the show with episode 52.
You did bring that up.
I don't know. I'm just I'm tired. I'm tired of editing this show. It doesn't take much, and I'm by no means like any kind of a good sound editor, but it's a commitment.
It is. It is. It's something that has to be done every week, basically.
Yeah. And obviously, you have to drive here to record. There's commitments on both sides. It's just, I don't know. And it's like, I've said this before, like we've had this discussion many times just about the act of creating and art or literature or whatever. And that, like, I mean, nobody fucking listens to this. So why am I doing this?
Well, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's just I enjoy talking about this stuff with you.
Yeah.
I like oohing and ahhing and arguing.
Yeah. And I get that. But there's also, I mean, the whole point of this. What's that? There's the song by MC Chris. Fet's Vet. There's a line in that that's unintentionally very, I don't know, poetic true to me, where he says, spike boots are made to kick, targets are made to hit. And that's the thing. It's like, this is meant to be listened to.
It is. It is.
The act of creation isn't supposed to be for the person that's creating it. It's supposed to be for those that see it or hear it. It's just like karaoke for me. Karaoke, I've said this a lot, and after hearing last week 2 people in a row singing 10-minute long Meatloaf songs, karaoke is not about the person holding the microphone. It's about the people listening. Mm-hmm. And that's why you don't have to be a good karaoke singer. It just has to be fun.
Well said.
That's why karaoke isn't The Voice or whatever fucking,
American Idol.
Yeah, exactly. It's just supposed to be fun, and you're not supposed to be up there belting out 10 minutes of the fucking Dashboard Light, whatever that goddamn Meatloaf song is.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a very popular one, is it?
No, it's not a very popular karaoke song because it's 10 minutes long.
Right. All of his songs are 10 minutes
But someone sang that last week, like 4 songs after someone else sang a Meatloaf song. And I was bitching about it. My friend Anna was like, but I just love this song so much. Like, but it's fucking repetitive. Like, every verse, they say the same sentence like 8 times. Like, it was long ago, it was far away, it was so much better than it was today. He says like 8 times in a row. And I was like, I'm all about the economy of storytelling. Don't say, if you can say something in a sentence, don't use a paragraph. And she goes, but that's just Meatloaf's lyricism. That's the way it is. And I'm like, I don't, that's not good enough for me. So then the song ends, and it's got the writing credit. Meatloaf didn't even write that fucking song. And I was like, look, that's not even a Meatloaf. So, well, it's his writing partner. Like, well, that's a funny way of saying he didn't fucking write it.
I like Meatloaf, I do, but his music is more attuned to long road trips. I would not do it in karaoke.
I've got nothing against Meatloaf, but I could give a fuck about how any of his songs at karaoke.
Right. Oh, yeah, right.
And like, I've said this many times, there's a difference between a good song and a good karaoke song.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, if I was watching that live, that would be a great song. And I have seen people do it in karaoke, and I agree with you. It's not really a stirring event.
How did we get on this? Why did I start talking about karaoke?
Because we were talking about the point of people listening to this. Speaking
of not stirring events, I think it's time for Vertigo Voices to fade away. Okay. I just, I don't know. I don't feel like I accomplished anything with this. Other than just, again, it's fun to read comics and talk about shit, but I don't need a podcast to do that.
Yeah, we could ooh and ah and argue without you having to edit.
Yeah, and there's something about just recognizing a failure and walking away from it that to me is more poignant than continuing to try for success.
Well, and this is what we're talking about too is a very niche thing. Like, my family and friends, a lot of them don't read Vertigo comics. They listen to it because I'm on it, but they have not a clue what we're talking about.
So looking at the amount of people that listen, I don't think your family and friends are listening.
Liars, you guys.
I know, I know a couple hundred people, probably. Mm-hmm. Just that I know pretty well. I'm friends on social media with, 600 to 800 more than that. And the law of averages says that, half of those people should care. Yeah, no, they don't. Nobody fucking cares.
Excuse me. When I say my family and friends, I don't mean like it's like, you know, the 1930s radio show where they all rush to the radio to hear my voice.
I mean, like two people that that you know or are related to.
Yes. Probably my Aunt Alice, who doesn't give a fig about comic books, and my cousin Lee, just because cousin Lee is awesome.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so I don't know. Maybe this is a little bit of catharsis for me, just to be able to put it to bed. And, and complain about the fact that people who like the posts on Facebook then don't listen to it.
Well, and it's just, there's so many goddamn podcasts out there. And there's so much maintenance that goes along with most of them, like social media all the time. And the question is like, how much, as enjoyable as this is for me, like, how much of your time do you want to spend on it?
Yeah, exactly.
In that promotion? Yeah,
and whatever. Who cares? I don't care anymore.
The thrill is gone.
Yeah, it's fun. And again, like I like that the aspect of editing it, but I don't want to do it for no one.
That's fair.
And if I'm going to be, it's like in it. Like I don't want to write just for me to read it. I don't want to record something. Like I can read or play video games that I enjoy or watch movies that I enjoy, but if I'm going to create something, then what's the point if no one is... If a tree falls in the woods and no one...
Does it make a sound?
Going back to the observer paradox, whatever it's called. Uncertainty principle.
You're more attuned than I. But no, it's been fun. It's been a blast. If you want to come back to it, we can always come back to it later if you want to come back to it later.
Yeah, I guess so. At least until, like August, whenever I have to pay for the domain again.
There you go, exactly.
Which is another thing. I mean, it's like $150 a month, or not a month, a year.
Okay, I was about to say, why did you tell me? Jesus, no wonder you want to quit.
It's $150 every day.
Whoa, I'm surprised you went this long.
Well, no, so yeah, I don't know, I'm tired and... maybe we'll come back to it. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah. Again, like, it would be far less work for you if we just got together and had coffee and then, nerded out.
Yeah. And then something else I was going to say about that. I don't remember. But, and even like on my old website, just writing, that was easier. I could write. Post it. There you go. Done.
That's fair.
And then, but I do have ideas for other podcasts in the future. I was actually a while ago talking to my friend Chris about one. But I'm not going to say here because I don't want anyone to steal it. This is a good one.
Will you tell me when we stop recording?
Maybe. Only if you sign a non-disclosure agreement.
And pay you $150 a month.
No, it's not. It's just more zeitgeisty.
Well, in that case, if this is goodbye, and thank you for all 3 of you, 4 of you, 5 of you that listened.
Depends on the episode.
There you go. Well, it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
It was fine. In keeping with my my well-crafted persona, it was fine.
It was okay. It was like Applebee's good, huh? Not offensive, but...
I'm not prepared
Okay.
to make any food comparisons. It was fine.
And with that,
Yeah.
we bid you adieu.
Goodbye. Don't text or write.
No more love letters or hate mail.
Exactly. All right, we're done. Goodbye.